All right, welcome back to Fleccas Talks, the podcast, episode 23. Today on the show, things between Russia and Ukraine continue to escalate. Am I rooting for Putin? Today you're going to find out. We have an absolutely nuts cringe of the week. The groomers take the L this time. We, once again, swing on Dan Crenshaw. I know it's not for everyone, but we have to show the problem with the way he and many other Republicans think. Stay till the end for an uplifting gold section, and stay till the very end to watch Fleccas shave his beard. All this and more. It's Fleccas Talks, the podcast, episode 23, ranked the best new podcast of all time.
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words, but at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool.
Fleccas Talks, the podcast, featuring Richard Graham. All right, we're back. Episode 23.
The Michael Jordan episode.
The Michael Jordan episode, the GOAT, the greatest of all time episode. Let's get into some housekeeping really quick before we get into the show.
Got to take care of it before we start.
Absolutely. Jerry the dog.
Yeah.
His birthday is coming up.
Any plans?
No, and we're not going to do anything for it because he's a dog.
And he doesn't know. He has no concept of time.
No concept of time. He's actually a complete idiot.
Yeah.
He's not getting a birthday party because he's not a kid.
Fair.
Maybe that's a controversial stance, but that's kind of how I feel about having a dog. It's not a child.
Yeah.
It's more of like an asset that I acquired.
Yeah. No sticking a candle in a McDonald's cheeseburger for him or anything.
Just so we can go like, and just gulp it down.
And not know what's happening. But
So it's Jerry's birthday. We're not doing any sort of celebration or any sort of dog party because I'm not going to do things that you should do with your own child because I don't have a child.
Yeah.
I'm not going to treat Jerry like my child because that's a mistake.
Yeah.
Unpopular
He's not your
opinion.
fur baby.
No fur baby.
He's not your little gentleman.
Yeah, he's just an idiot. But we like him. Follow him on Instagram. Wish him happy birthday at Jerry, the famous Roddy. Moving on. I saw this beluga whale video. This has gone viral. Like every few months, this goes viral. And I actually wanted to edit this video in a way. Here's the original where the beluga whale brings the phone up to a girl. She lost her phone. The whale is nice. And I want to just kind of edit this in a way to show the problem with deceptive editing and what's possible out there when we see a lot of these videos, especially from like Ukraine and Russia. It's hard to know what's real and what's not. For example, this is what the beluga whale situation could also look like. It's a girl shoving her phone in the beluga's mouth and it going under. I know it's random. This is also true. Look at this. This is a video of kids getting pulled out of a fire, which is great. Play it in reverse, and this fireman's doing a crime.
It's like the shoplifting videos where it's in reverse and then it's uplifting music. Like these nice young men restocked the Nike store.
Restocked the whole Nike store. Exactly. All right. We're getting through housekeeping.
This is easy. Housekeeping's nothing.
Housekeeping is easy. It's just some things we have to keep track of every week. And it's some things that I've realized in the week that don't really have a place in the show. Have you guys ever heard of Bueno bars?
I have recently.
You have recently. We're trying not to eat them that much, but we got this random candy from like 7-Eleven. It's called Bueno bars. It is not an ad. They do not want to be associated with the show. I promise you that.
Cease and desist coming.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Spanish or Italian or what, but these things are light, crunchy, velvety, chocolatey, smooth, nice. Highly recommend. Try them out. They're very good.
It's been the snack of choice.
It's been the snack of choice the last few days.
What do you got going on with your coffee there, by the way?
This is the correct color of coffee. It's
That's
black.
what coffee should look like?
This is what coffee should look like. Black, nice ice cube.
In an old sugar-free Jell-O container that you found on the kitchen sink.
In an old sugar-free Jell-O container I found on the kitchen sink. And that's it. That's
So
how much
you're
coffee
telling
I
me
wanted.
how to drink coffee.
Well,
that's your situation.
I'm not
over
trying
there.
to reuse glasses for a one use. I'm just going to use that and throw it away. Maybe I use that twice and throw it away.
All right,
I don't like doing dishes. Speaking of snacks I've been enjoying lately, I've been trying to enjoy stuff, and then every time I do, like, remember we used to have Diet Cokes on the table? Of
course.
And everyone says, oh, Diet Coke's bad for you. You can't do it. Spikes your insulin, chemicals, turns frogs gay. So that keeps happening to everything I enjoy and think is like decent for me. So lately I've been drinking, like this last week I drank gallons of unsweetened iced tea.
Yeah, he had a gallon of unsweetened iced tea and he squirts lemon juice in it. It's like a real...
And I think it's great because it's like it's tea, which is natural. It's 0 calories. There's a little bit of caffeine in it. And I've been just ripping that instead of Diet Cokes. So in the comments, let me know how wrong that is.
And then I told him it's a diuretic. There's caffeine in that. So it's actually dehydrating you the whole time. He didn't know that.
Yeah,
and then someone else came over and said, oh, yeah, my dad used to have like a gallon of a tea a day habit. Then he got kidney stones. So
yeah, but that was for sweet tea. This is unsweetened tea. It's, I guess, not that good for me. It's not hydrating me. I can't enjoy anything. Nothing's good. There's no treats for me.
Yeah, you're basically down to water, chicken breast, broccoli, and the occasional Bueno bar.
Yeah, exactly. There's no treats for me in this season of life. Yeah.
So you're pretty depressed about that. He's discovering all these foods. It's like, oh, that's bad in huge quantities. He has no control over the huge quantities.
Yeah, like what can I have huge quantities of and it's fine, and it's like just water with lemon squirts.
So we need guilt-free large quantities. Yeah. If anybody has any recommendations, your little hacks.
We've been ripping.
Because someone will recommend like a stevia type thing, and then another person will be like, that's killing you.
Yeah.
Your body thinks it's sugar.
Please.
So we're looking for a hack, guys.
Because we do the sugar-free Jellos too, and it's like, I don't know, it's what, horse hooves? People tell me, oh, you're eating horse
gelatin, aspartame, or whatever.
So there's nothing we can actually enjoy. And then I had this like bad realization with Rat Boy the other day, talking about diets and exercise. We're counting our calories, and there's no way to lose weight without doing a calorie deficit.
It's a literal math equation. Calories in, calories out.
And I'm like, well, I'm burning more calories than usual. I'm probably burning 2,500 a day. If I'm doing these weighted vest walks, that counts as blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and then if I don't eat carbs, I can eat as much steak and bacon and cheese as I want. And Rat Boy is like, whoa.
You have to be under. You have to be at a deficit.
There's got to be a deficit. Yeah. So that's what we're working on over here, and it's not enjoyable. It's actually been the trend of the whole week is not being able to enjoy anything that I used to enjoy. And I had a playlist going in the background all week, and while I was writing the script for the show, and this week's playlist is "You're Slowly Becoming Insane at the Opera House."
Fitting.
That's the energy. That's how I feel in real life. I'm slowly going insane in this like circus playhouse where all these people are just actors and Muppets and puppets.
But it's kind of different because in our lives, we've stayed relatively the same, flat with beliefs, and then everything else is just going crazy around us. So it's not really, you're not really going insane. People are trying to get you to go insane.
Yeah.
Is what it sounds like.
Exactly.
And you're letting that with the playlist. You're letting it happen.
Yeah, and I'm entertaining the idea of going a little mad. Because we all go a little mad sometimes.
Yeah, you're going to shave your beard.
I'm going to shave my beard at the end of the episode. Make sure you stay till the end for that, because I'm
going to hold you to that.
That's real, and that's happening. The last thing of housekeeping, we're getting into the show. Rat Boy and I just watched Scream.
Yeah, the remake, the new one.
The remake. Guys, to get a call from Scream, he goes, hello, Cindy. Do you want to die tonight? And then the girl says something back, and then she's like, oh, all the doors are locked. Like, you can't get me. And then he's like, I'm already in the house. And then, boom, stabs her. But it's like, don't you hear him 2 feet away? How much ground can he cover?
Is your room like a podcast studio in every room? You can't hear anything moving?
It's like, hello, Sydney. I'd be like,
say that again?
Who is this?
He's in the closet. The closet. It has
so
to be.
Here's how Scream would...
He's wearing wrestling shoes and his closing speed is like, like, how do you never hear him?
Yeah, how do you never hear him is the question. So here's how Scream would go down in my mind.
Okay.
Piece of shit.
Hello?
Hello, Fleccas. You're gonna die tonight.
What was that?
I said hello, Fleccas.
I hear you in there.
You're gonna die.
Stay back. My life is in danger.
You're gonna die tonight. I almost broke this shit.
Good.
I can't see anything.
So yeah, that pretty much solves it. Scream is not an issue for capable people like us.
Scream is interesting because it's one guy with a knife.
And wearing a mask, and you can't even, you can't even see out of that.
He goes like 10-0 on the movie. 10-0, nobody stops him.
Yeah, he just slashed everybody. How does he see out of the mask? A lot of times he's chasing people at night. Wouldn't you just be like,
yeah.
Okay, he's right on that. You know? It doesn't make sense.
Hey, man, we can go into the inaccuracies of horror movies all day. I don't think we're going to get satisfied.
We're not going to get satisfied. Let's move on. Let's get into some good cringe of the week.
Okay.
Let's start this episode off with some good cringe of the week.
Let's see what the freaks are up to.
Let's see what they're up to. First, let's do an easy one. I saw there was a non-binary pride shirt that came out.
Oh, yeah.
I think Matt Walsh tweeted this.
Yeah, the guys from Babylon Bee did too.
The Babylon Bee guys did. And it's funny because the non-binary shirt come in male and female sizes.
Which is what? Binary?
Pretty binary.
Yeah, that's
and even if you,
or
yeah, it's
and
one or the other.
Yeah.
And even if you give them that credit and say, okay, you're non-binary, doesn't non-binary mean that you're not binary and the choices are binary or not binary, and then it puts yourself back onto a binary scale?
Yeah, I get they're suffering. The non-binary people are suffering.
It's hard to make sense of all this, and now I kind of understand the confusion on their part because their world doesn't make sense.
My favorite too is the non-binary pride flag men's shirt, and it's like a fit guy with big arms, and it's like, yeah. It's not going to look like that, guys.
Yeah, you could just use the girl sizes.
And the cute girl with like long brown hair and no tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't your target demo, guys.
Yeah, it's like the boys can use the girl sizes, and then the girls can use the boy sizes for the non-binary stuff, if I had to guess. Moving on. There was a big DeSantis pushback this week because Florida is passing the Don't Say Gay bill, and then to protest it, all of the Democrats were pretending that it's some attack on the LGBT, and they just started saying gay all the time.
Because we boiled it down to don't say gay, so now we're going to say it.
Yeah.
It's like you oppressed yourself.
And as if that's like as if everyone else is like, don't say it. Like you just completely like straw man the whole thing. And here's what they're up to.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Gay. I said it.
Gay!
Gay.
Gay.
Gay?
Gay.
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 I'm gonna say it. Gay.
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 Gay. Gay.
Gay.
Gay.
Gay.
Gay.
Gay.
Gay.
Gay.
Gay. Jerry, give me a kiss. Gay.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand the prompt.
There's a lot of reasons to say gay these days.
That's what I thought it meant. Like, oh yeah, like what would you say gay about? And I guess I didn't understand the prompt.
Yeah. Well,
So-
that's our interpretation of it.
Our
so.
interpretation, it's not offensive. It's free speech, and I'm sorry if you're offended by it.
But isn't that so childish that they boil it down to like, don't say gay. They brand it something, and then it's just people saying gay.
Yeah.
Gay. Mark Hamill tweeted gay, 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 gay like 100 times. It's
Congrats.
like, we know, dude. We've seen your Twitter for the last 10 months.
Yeah,
Like, we're aware.
You're saying it plenty.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they pretend it's about like attacking LGBT people or whatever, and then DeSantis really cleared it up and said, "Why don't you be honest about what the bill is saying? It's to stop pre-K to third grade students from learning about sexuality, LGBT stuff in general." And everyone's pretending that he's some horrible guy, but we're kind of like getting far from the point where it's like, why do you want to teach 5-year-olds about sex so bad? Who generally wants to talk to 5 to 7-year-olds about sex stuff? Is it the good people?
Yeah.
Or is it the bad people?
Like, you would have to have a very specific reason in your mind to drive you to do that. Everybody else is just like, oh, that's kind of a parent issue, something they'll do in their home. But you have to have something deep rooted in here, like driving you to do that.
Exactly.
So, and then if you're a deep rooted, intense person who's got a drive to teach
Highly
5-year-olds,
motivated.
yeah, if you're highly motivated to teach 5-year-olds about sex, then you're biased and you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, that's who we
Isn't that,
should
like,
not hear from.
It's disqualifying, and so you shouldn't even be speaking to these kids.
Yeah,
is my thought.
Exactly. And John Doyle had a great point about this. He said heterosexual people reproduce and have children. Homosexual people reproduce by grooming children, which makes total sense. And we're going to see that in our next example of Cringe of the Week. Look at this summer camp. I have it labeled summer camp pedo, parentheses jail.
I have it. I have it labeled pervert masturbator. So those are our takes on it.
Yeah.
Not to bias you or something.
You be the judge.
How we should, like get down with yourself, explore your own body. Masturbation is really healthy, and I recommend it to people of all ages. All ages. As soon as my nephews could talk, they were doing that. That's what they were doing. Kids touch themselves. Kids start to ask questions, and we teach them the language for their bodies, right?
All right, that's
your
enough.
nut.
I feel like we're gonna get in trouble on
This is like a Southern lady.
Yeah.
Isn't that so weird? You're talking to your nephews about masturbating? Isn't
As
that
soon as
like,
they could talk.
Yeah. No, you say, don't touch that. Those are your private parts. And then they figure it out later when they start getting testosterone and they hit puberty.
Yeah.
What are you talking
So
about?
that's an easy jail situation in my mind. It's like, oh yeah, this is your views. Have you ever gone about, explaining these to people and acted on them? Oh, you
So
did?
who have you talked to? This is like you write down a report. So which kids have you talked to? Because we need to go interview them. Because you're possibly a wanted criminal.
Yeah, you're 100% a wanted criminal.
You may have just broken 50 laws. I don't know what state you're in, but
Yeah.
And that's one of the things too is these people feel so comfortable just talking to a camera, means TV about like grooming kids and nephews, all ages should masturbate.
And she really reinforced all ages. It's like, that's the problem part, lady. If you were saying middle school and high school, and it's so, we have to explain before they do it themselves. You're saying all ages as soon as they could talk? That's the part you usually hide.
Let them get to like grammar first. Let them get to more than 25 words first as soon as they can talk.
This is just like the trend. So there's also, I have labeled groomer Rachel Maddow.
Yeah, let's get to her.
Let's get to her. Let's get to they.
Yeah, I shouldn't
Shouldn't
assume.
You want a super easy and trick question to exploring gender identity with your kids? Try this. Do you sometimes feel more like a girl or more like a boy, or maybe even both or neither?
So that's like just a little quick clip, but the mindset there is the problem. People think they're doing a nice thing, they're doing a good job. Oh, I'm listening to my child and letting them decide who they want to be, and that sounds good if you're like a stupid idiot.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I'm being fair, and like it's a blank canvas, and kids can be free to be themselves. But kids need structure based in truth. They just got to the planet. They don't know how the world works. And when mom says, oh, you can do whatever you want, be whatever you want, they're going to go, okay, what do I have to work with? And all they have is what they know, which is nothing. And then the dad in the situation is probably wearing a mask and watching pornography.
The dad is MIA for sure.
And then now the mom, who's a stupid idiot, is leading the charge, and she's having these kids make decisions that are actually bad because they don't know anything. And
they also said, do you feel like a boy or feel like a girl? It's like, I've been alive for 7 years.
Yeah.
I don't know what feeling like a girl is.
If you asked any of your kids, if say they're under 5 years old, are you a girl or a boy today? I think it's like 50-50. If it's a boy, they'll go, girl. And then it's like, what?
Yeah.
Just because they don't even know. Are you a boy or a girl? They'll say, I'm a girl.
Or they're half listening and they don't care.
They don't even know what you're asking. And then you're like, ooh, we have to act on that. And that these are the people that are, making decisions and wanting to be in charge. They're really coming for the kids.
Nice haircut, lady. Thank you for identifying yourself for us.
Yeah. So far in Cringe of the Week, we've covered how people are grooming the kids. Mm-hmm. And I think the attitude towards children is very much a sign of how society is and what direction it's going, trajectory-wise. So obviously, when you're grooming kids to be sexual beings at a young age,
sexually aware or whatever.
Sexually aware, gender confusion, obviously that's bad. And what's also equally bad in my mind is the desensitizing of abortion and what abortion is, literally murdering the unborn. So look at this tweet from this old, horrible woman about people who were protesting at Planned Parenthood.
All right, woman outside Planned Parenthood with a sign yesterday that read, "Please don't abort. We've been trying to start a family for 4 years. We will adopt your baby." Want to know what I do when I see one of those signs? I pull in and park. I ask the sign holder their name. I go inside and pay for a stranger's abortion in their honor. I have that printed on the donation receipt. I give it to them on the way back to my car. People who think that just because they're infertile, others owe them not just pregnancy, labor, childbirth, but also their freaking flesh and blood make me physically ill. That's a level of entitlement I can't even wrap my head around, and those are people who should take a freaking hint from the universe that made them because they aren't fit to parent anyone. and it's just like some old like Barbara looking type lady with gray hair.
Horrible lady. A horrible view on what children are. And it's like abortion, and as we said before about like the trajectory of society, like what direction is society going. Like abortion used to be something that had some shame around it. It was like the solemn thing that was like you do it and it's safe and it's rare and we don't want to be,
Safe, rare, not encouraged.
Not encouraged. Don't get in the habit of doing it. If you did it, it's kind of embarrassing and shameful, as it should be. And now it's like we're shouting our abortions. We're cheering them on. We're buying them for people. We're buying them for people in the name of someone who's trying to have their own kid and can't. And it just kind of shows where society is headed.
This lady thinks she owned I owned, like, look at me, like, pat me on the back. I pay for someone's abortion.
And then, they're entitled and asking for a kid. It's like these people are pleading.
Yeah.
These people are begging, hey, we want a kid so bad. Don't destroy a human life because you were sexually irresponsible and got pregnant. But now it's, the people protesting at Planned Parenthood, the people pleading for a kid are the problem. And it's like so backwards. And I've been talking to Richard Rappaway about this. I'm like, how do we solve this? And the answer is toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Toxic masculinity in the left's mind is this horrible thing, but it's like the only thing right now that could actually solve this. We just need men to say, no, we're not doing that. And they can get mad and, you're hateful, you're anti-LGBT, you're misogynist. And it doesn't matter.
Name calling is literally over for toxic masculinity.
It's done. We're not doing it, and that's it. And people can get mad, and that's kind of the stand that hasn't been taken, unfortunately. People aren't willing to say the hard truth because they're scared of the backlash, but the people you're getting backlash from are literally doing the devil's biddings and working for Satan. So it's depressing. Cringe of the week this week is a sad one, but exposing the groomers and these horrible LGBT teachers every week, I think, goes a long way and is important.
This stuff is contagious too. We always mention this point, but these people are so comfortable hopping on camera and talking about grooming kids. Like that first woman who we played. Could you imagine if that was like a really creepy, ugly looking man talking about that? Oh, I recommend my nieces masturbate.
Oh, yeah.
Like, obviously that's whataboutism, but it's insane.
I'm sure we could find some weird guys making that argument too.
That's next. And then we'll be calling the police on them. Like a lot of these people, you need to interview the kids and like show them a doll and be like, did anybody touch you?
Yeah.
Because this is a groomer level stuff and it needs to stop. And thank God for Ron DeSantis and those type of people because.
Yeah. And it's just we'll have people that are join the Ron DeSantis types in like an alliance, and there'll be certain states where you can be comfortable to send your kids to public school where no one's going to teach them how to masturbate or that they're a girl if they're a boy, and they're not going to come home and you're not going to have to fight any battles for the soul of your child because some idiot muppet is trying to subvert them and do the devil's biddings.
Well, and then we always say this, it's like the kid gets radicalized a little bit with the trans or gender or binary stuff by the internet. The parents have no idea it's happening. And then the teacher runs interference on it by starting to call them they or starting to enable it in some way without telling the parent. Mm-hmm. And that should be illegal in all 50 states.
Absolutely.
So
ready to move on from Cringe of the Week?
Sure.
All right, we're getting into the Dan Crenshaw swing section. I know this is not everyone's favorite part of the episode, so for those people who don't like it, we actually have timestamps. Now at the bottom over here, on the bottom of the screen, we have timestamps so you can skip ahead to the Ukraine take you're probably not going to like. We already told you about the Bueno bars. So the show's pretty much over. If you don't like the Dan Crenshaw swing part, the show's pretty much...
Skip to the end where he shaves his beard.
Yeah, skip to the very end where I shave my beard.
Well, and I said this about Dan Crenshaw. It's like, Fleccas obviously likes hammering Crenshaw, but this is like representative of the way a lot of people think. So This is not just Dan Crenshaw. This is like the RINO warmongering, Lindsey Graham types, the Republicans who want to go on TV and say that we need to do XYZ and spend $40 billion in Ukraine, you know?
Exactly.
So,
and there's a whole generation of the John McCain types, the Lindsey Graham types, the Mitt Romney types, and those are a problem, and those are very obvious. Yeah. Everyone knows that. Everyone passes that, RINO litmus test. But the problem in my mind is the next generation of RINOs that is rising to power now we have to nip it in the bud a little bit.
Yeah.
So here's why I'm mad at Dan Crenshaw this week. Dan Crenshaw had a very, very busy week on social media like he always does. Twitter and Instagram, he's been hammering it. Here's the first thing that made me very mad. Remember this SNL sketch where the people on SNL did this whole bit about like how masks don't work and COVID's over and the mask never worked and the vaccine, and they basically just like
and they all do this.
Yeah,
like they act shocked, like the mask never worked.
Exactly. So they're doing like this bit, which basically was like tongue-in-cheek admitting
we botched it.
They botched it. They knew the whole time that the mask didn't work, and now they're kind of like making a joke about it to make it more palatable for the normies.
Yeah.
So Dan Crenshaw posts this sketch, and he says, "Oh, it's hilarious.
SNL is about 2 years late to the party, but we'll take it. This is actually pretty funny."
2 years late, but we'll take it? We'll take it? That's the problem, Dan. Our elected officials got manipulated, the people got played, and now they say, oh, we'll take it. No, Dan, we don't want to take it. We don't want to elect people that are just going to take it. That's the whole thing that got us here.
Suicides, mental health crisis, kids who are way behind on speech development, but we'll take it.
Yeah, they shut down our businesses. They made it people to get vaccinated. The kids got messed up. Kids are still wearing a mask.
A lot are.
Still happening, but we'll take it. We'll take it. SNL's coming around. We'll take it. And that's the problem with Dan, because he likes to go on SNL and he likes to be accepted by the left.
Loves Pete Davidson apologizing to him.
Pete Davidson apologizing. He goes on Trevor Noah. He wants the left to accept him, and that's the problem in my mind. Here's another one. Here's another example. He tweeted about Joe Biden seeking the answers in Delaware.
It says, why does Joe Biden think all the answers are always in Delaware?
Dan, do you think Joe Biden's trying to find the answers? Do you think he's stupid and trying his best? No, Dan. Joe Biden's stupid and trying his worst.
He has negative intentions.
Exactly. Why is Joe Biden going to Delaware? Doesn't he want to help America? I don't know, Dan. He's probably going to Delaware so he could take meetings with people that aren't on public record because they don't happen at the White House. If I had to guess, that's probably why he's going to Delaware, Dan. Oh, I just don't get it. Does he want to help?
It's not just incompetence.
Exactly.
It's like here are the things I care about. So if it was just incompetence, he would shut down Russian oil importing to America, and then he'd do a little bit. He'd be like, okay, let's get that pipeline back up, or he'd do half a job. But when you cut off Russian oil and then don't do anything to backfill it for the demand,
yeah, why doesn't he just turn on the Keystone Pipeline? It would only take 30 minutes. Yeah, Dan, say it again. Why doesn't he turn on the Keystone Pipeline? It'll only take 30 minutes. You keep attributing good motives to the people. Do you think Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are trying the best to help America? No, by a lot. The answer is no, by a lot.
Yeah.
They're definitely 100% not. And at the end of the day, the problem with certain types of Republicans, like Dan Crenshaw, is they don't see it as a battle of good versus evil. He keeps attributing these motives like Joe Biden's trying his best, but he can't figure it out. If only he'd see your tweets, Dan, then Joe Biden would know what to do. We're attributing these good motives, and that's 100% the problem. It's good versus evil, and if you don't see it that way, at a certain point, it becomes disqualifying, and if it continues on, you basically become complicit. You're part of the bad guys. So that's what I think is the huge problem. It's good versus evil, and Dan Crenshaw doesn't see it that way. He keeps pretending Joe Biden is trying his best when we know he's not. And when you do it that way, you become a pawn in the globalist agenda, and the George Soroses of the world and the WEFs. All these people will use you as a Muppet. They're going to put their hand up your butt, they're going to grab your mouth, and they're going to go like this. And that's what they basically do to Dan Crenshaw. And it's frustrating.
Yeah. And so I think that's just the framing of his logic. You have to pay attention to it. It's like, why wouldn't Joe Biden do this? It's like, yeah, Dan, it's obvious. He should be doing this, but he won't. So he doesn't care about the bottom line affecting Americans. Like Dan had the other tweet. We import 595,000 barrels of oil per day from Russia before Joe Biden obviously put the stop on that. The Keystone XL pipeline would have produced 830K barrels per day. So almost twice as much, or 150%. Relying on Russian oil is a choice, and it's a stupid one.
Yeah. Yeah, Dan. Joe Biden for a second was funding both sides of the war, Dan. Oh, why would he do that? We have to help America. It's getting annoying. It's getting annoying when these people attribute good motives to the people in charge. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, Jerry Nadler, Nancy Pelosi. These people don't have America's best interest. They spent the last 50 years hollowing this country out from the inside out, middle class out. And now Dan Crenshaw's wondering, what happened? Why? Well, if only Joe Biden would read my tweets, he'd know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan, you're so close, buddy.
Yeah, well, the Democrats, they're never going to do anything. Like, they don't, this gas crisis going on right now shows you how little they'll ever do. Like, this is the gas price crisis, right? And they're not even willing to do anything. There's a moratorium on leases, oil leases for federal land right now. That's no change there. Keystone Pipeline, no change there. So if they won't do anything for American energy independence now, at the peak of the crisis, when we just turned off Russian oil to America, they'll never do it. You know, like it'll never happen. So the Democrat is never going to be the party of American energy independence. And I just hope people can see that now, because.
And which is the key to American prosperity. It's just becoming energy independent. You can even export oil, and then we just kind of control our own destiny.
And we can export oil to Europe. So Europe, or natural gas at least. So Europe is less dependent on Russia, because again, Joe Biden turned off Russian oil to America. But guess who's still buying it? Europe.
Yep.
So Europe has no other choice. So America is on our island out here suffering with our gas prices with no domestic, counter side to it to counter the drop in supply. And it's just, we're alone. We're suffering alone, you know? So, it's America's job to punish Russians and our own citizens.
Yeah.
While Europe just continues to, pipeline oil directly from Russia into Germany.
Exactly. It's good versus evil, Dan. It's time to start figuring that out. It's time to start realizing that.
Yeah.
It's very obvious to pretty much everyone else. And
ask your donors.
Yeah, and if it's not obvious, to you, Dan, at a certain point we start to question your motives and your agenda, because it starts to line up with the people who are deceiving us. Okay, let's get into some Ukraine stuff. Okay. There's like a litmus test now where it's like you can tell who is based, speaking of Dan Crenshaw, who is based and who is not. We saw it with COVID, with masks, the vaccine. Most conservatives by the end kind of figured it out. Election integrity, voter fraud, same thing.
There's been a lot of barometers. There's been a lot of ways to tell.
And you can tell who's on whose side. So like with voter fraud and election integrity, if you think that Joe Biden fairly won the election and got 81 million legal votes, like you're a Muppet. Yeah. We can't trust you for anything else. I'd love to ask Dan Crenshaw that. I have a list of questions I'd love to ask Dan. And then Ukraine is one.
I'm sure he'll sit down for an interview really soon with
Dan,
you.
come on the show, Dan. I'm friendly, Dan, and we would have a good time. And I'm polite.
You'd be nicer in person.
I'd be nicer in person. And what I wouldn't do, though, would be get played and have him like become my friend at the end, be like, actually, Dan's great, guys. Like, I was wrong. Like, Dan, you're not going to want to come on the show because the questions I'm going to ask you are going to basically expose you as a long-term rhino.
I think part of the reason we like talking about Crenshaw a lot too is because he could do the right thing. Yeah. It's like he could be a great politician for us, but everything we've seen is just like, there's some other motive underneath here. There's some other thing where it's like, yeah, like we're trying to connect the dots, and then there's just like these two that won't go, and it's like, I mean, he has the correct take on several things, like, and I see a tweet I agree with, and I go, oh, nice work, Dan. But then you see another one that's like, how do you reconcile these two things? So, and that's why I feel so obligated to go after him, because if you see his good takes, you'll assume, oh, this guy's got it figured out. I can trust bad takes. 10 out of 10 takes. Yeah. And it's like if 9 or 8 out of 10 takes are really good and then takes 9 and 10 are completely wrong and bad, the 8 aren't worth it because those 9 and 10 are going to be the John McCain saying no to repealing Obamacare. Yeah. Again, that's how it's going to play out. And that's why I keep ringing the bell and saying, Dan, bad. Why wear mask in photo, Dan? There's another one. Yeah. So with Ukraine, the litmus test was a little harder. A lot of conservatives forgot to bring their number 2 pencils. Yeah, with an eraser. We lost Hannity for sure. We lost pretty much all of Fox except for Tucker. Newsmax and OAN are not saying good stuff. Breitbart's gone. The war drums are beating, and it's just hard to stand tall. Exactly. It's sad because we lose some people we like,
but it's good because we find out who's actually based and who is a sellout who takes political action dollars from progressive groups and has a crush on Leah Thomas.
Who might that be?
Matt Schlapp, crush on Leah Thomas. Matt Schlapp. That's why I didn't go to CPAC.
What's that?
Yeah, he has a crush on Leah Thomas. What's it called when?
Wait, did he really say that?
He said that we should.
I'm pulling up the tweet just so because this is not good.
I can ballpark it. I ballparked it as he has a crush on Leah Thomas.
Okay, I'm reading it right now. No matter what one thinks of Leah's ability to swim with women, her story deserves our compassion. It will be interesting to hear Leah's point of view in 30 years. Not for me.
Why don't you just kiss her, Matt?
Yeah, all right. So he's got a crush on her.
Yeah, he's got a crush on her. We've been compassionately. Exactly. He's been compassionately talking about it. So have we. We've been compassionately talking about Leah every week.
For the girls.
Yeah.
Who are trying to win swimming medals. We're compassionate towards them.
I don't offer compassion.
And we have heaps of compassion.
Yeah. And we've dedicated shows to protecting and trying to call out the problems so these swimmer girls can have like a nice normal life that they worked hard for.
Yeah.
They go to nice college and now you're getting second place as the best you could do.
Hope silver is worth it.
Yeah. It's not for me. So we have plenty of compassion, and I don't offer compassion to transgressors unless it's Putin. So we'll get to that section soon. Oh, man.
He's doing a bit.
I'm doing a bit, but I don't know, man. At least Anomaly made a great point. At least Putin is a nationalist, and he's trying his best for the Russian people in his mind.
Yeah.
And for the Russians, which is not America's or America's best interest. But I respect a nationalist. The people in Ukraine, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Burisma, and Hunter Biden, like that's not... those aren't nationalists looking out for America's best interest.
Yeah.
Those are the people that are hollowing us, ourselves, our country out.
Yeah.
So it is a different thing, and it is like I'm not cheering on another country's nationalism, but you have the two options. It's like I acknowledge and respect a nationalist.
Me too. I acknowledge and respect Poland for the same thing. They're not losing their culture to the EU or falling for
Hungary,
any of that.
fighting George Soros. Like that's nationalism stuff, and what they're usually up against is the problems in other countries, the corruption problems in Ukraine, the corruption in America. So it's a complicated subject.
Yeah.
But I forgot to mention,
okay,
we still have Crenshaw Sucks shirts on shopfleccas.com. Get them while you still can. Use code Jerry for 15% off. We wanted to make them a limited run, but every week Dan Crenshaw pisses me off. So we can't
Dan
stop
Crenshaw's
selling it.
Banging the war drum out here. So he sucks.
So, he sucks. Get yours today. Support the show. We have no money. Moving on. There's like there was a, I don't know if this is real or fake.
Uh-huh.
It's one of those stories, Ghost of Kiev, obviously, the Snake Island. There was a gun grabber of Ukraine. Can you read that?
Yeah, let me pull that up.
Let's take a little break. Let's stop talking about Republicans that have let us down and get into a more uplifting story. This is pretty cool coming out of Ukraine. Sounds like this guy is taking the team on his back to save Ukraine. Check this out.
All right, it says, pictured here is an unknown Ukrainian citizen. When his unit came under fire, he distracted a Russian soldier by waving a red flag before wresting the rifle from his hands. For his bravery, he has been dubbed the gun grabber of Kiev.
And it's a picture of Dan Crenshaw if you're in the audio only part.
Yeah.
We're basically done
Red
roasting.
flag. He waves a red flag.
He waves a red flag, and he's snatching guns. We're going to stop talking about Dan Crenshaw. We're going to move on to the Ukraine section, but we just had to get that out there. Shopfleccas.com for the shirt. And let's take...
Oh, wait. Actually, my meme page got fact-checked on the Ghost of Kiev meme.
Why?
Because I posted Adam Kinzinger posting Sam Hyde.
And they fact-check you saying the Ghost of Kiev is fake?
Yes. They said this is a doctored image and blah, blah, blah. It's like, I know that's why I posted it. So they fact-checked me for Kinzinger, Adam Kinzinger's misinformation.
He's probably in on it.
I know. That was his setup.
I posted one Ghost of Kiev, and it was George Floyd. So I hope they don't say, hey, George Floyd didn't Ghost of Kiev. He was murdered.
That's coming.
He was a murder. All right, let's actually look into some stuff in Ukraine. Well, let's look at someone. This is a video of someone who's actually helping the cause. What's with what's going on over there? Let's look at someone who's actually
Animals
helping.
in the zoo in Kiev, Ukraine are terrified from the bombing. This is for the elephant there.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, wow. That's good. We can cut. I hope that helps. And I'm happy to use my platform to spread a positive message like that. If you're a Ukrainian elephant, please leave us a comment and a 5-star review. It goes a long way. We are on your side.
This is like this lady would throw a birthday party for her dog for sure.
Yeah.
Dude, like insanity. This is an insane person. This is for the Ukrainian elephants? No, it's for you.
Yeah.
It's for you and your social media. You're nuts.
It's like a virtue signaling schizophrenic borderline person.
And it's like, yo, people are dying, but the elephant, the zoo animals.
Yeah, that's what we need to worry about.
Everything's
This is a
like
video
Harry
for
Potter.
them. Yeah, everything's Harry Potter.
Everything's Harry Potter, and the animals are magical, and the bombs are, it's just such a weird
Hey,
mindset.
elephant. Watch this. This will make you feel better about the bombs.
Yeah, imagine. I want to see video of someone showing the phone to the elephant and being like, "Here you go."
All right, I'm moving on. The Ukraine. This is the Ukraine dumb shit section.
Okay.
There was a Canadian diner that changed their name of one of their dishes. That was a poutine. They changed their name because it sounds too much like Putin, and it's the same thing you just said. This is just people LARPing.
Bravo.
Like, these are just like losers changing things to participate in virtue signal and divide, and obviously, divide and label your political opponents as bad guys. The problem is the fighters. These are the people that, they fight for abortion, they fight against racism, they fight for LGBT, they fight for undocumented. But it's like none of the things you fight for are actually like, there's no truth behind them, or like there's no problem that you're solving. You're just being manipulated and you're a pawn. And it's like, did you fight for election integrity? Did you fight against propaganda? Did you fight for the kids who are getting masked up and are still masked up? Did you fight for the people that lost their jobs because of not getting a vaccine? Like, you never fight for the actual thing.
Yep.
But the fighters, our society's fighters, these are the sides they're on. So it's like you see the protesters, you see the people who are, having a fuss about what's going on, and the things they're fighting for are like these low-level, shallow things that don't make any sense. So our fighters are really preoccupied.
They're wasting their time on like circular missions that don't go anywhere,
Yeah, exactly. And then all they really do is just like divide society into half or quarters or whatever. If I'm fighting for abortion, it's like all you're really doing is labeling the people that stand against abortion as evil, and then the people who stand against abortion are actually good.
Yep.
So it's like you're not
the power
fighting.
of branding and backwards think. So
It's like you're just a political pawn who got manipulated and confused and tricked. And now you're out there fighting against the bad guys who are actually the good guys. And everyone who's in the middle watching thinks, oh, it's the good guys versus the bad guys.
And then when Kamala Harris and Joe Biden want to send $40 billion to Ukraine and, a small unit, a small battalion to Poland, then they go, look, these people wanted it. So it's like the useful stooge.
Exactly.
And it's really weird. It's really bad.
And it's interesting, too, because if these stooges like took a step back and zoomed out, wouldn't you realize you're on the side of big pharma, you're on the side of establishment politics, you're on the side of the establishment
McDonald's,
media,
Visa,
corporations.
Pfizer. You're with everybody.
Like, you're with all the bad people that you're not supposed to be with. We had like years of counterculture like opposing this, and then like you kind of just kept going, and then next thing you know, you're like in the middle of the bad guy section saying, oh, those are the bad guys, pointing the opposite way.
Which is why corporations do that, right? They co-opted it, so they're like, you can't be mad at us. We supported all your pet projects.
Exactly.
But we're using child labor in Malaysia and mark it up 500%. But we backed all your funny little projects, all your little activities.
All you have to do is say BLM, say his name.
Change your profile picture to a rainbow flag for Pride Month.
Arrest Breonna Taylor.
Make a Black History post.
Yeah. All that stuff. And then Candace made a really good point in a tweet about this. She basically said it's like the rules for Twitter. For example, Trump got kicked off of Twitter because of whatever they said he did.
Yeah.
You can go on Twitter
You want me to read it?
Yeah.
January 6th protesters must be in awe of Twitter's apparent redefining of inciting violence. This week, you can call for the assassination of a president, plus drop maps of how to make Molotov cocktails without having your account deleted, as long as you're pro-Ukrainian.
Exactly. So if you're on the good guy's side, you can do whatever you want. And if you're on the bad guy's side, anything you do will be given, you'll be attributed like the worst motives, and then you'll be deleted or...
Like me getting fact-checked, posting a Kinzinger tweet, bringing awareness to how much of an idiot he was.
Exactly. So it's just a matter of which team you're on, which is why we have to get onto our own social media stuff and not rely on the big tech people like YouTube, which we kind of are. We kind of are, but we're in the lawsuit against them. If they delete me, I'm ready.
There's justification too, because it's like, this is where the eyeballs are. So it's like, we're here because you're here. So it's a circular thing again.
And we're not giving money to YouTube because we're not monetizing the videos.
Yeah.
And we're staying afloat because you guys keep buying t-shirts like Trader Joe's shirt, which is on the store and it's very popular. And it comes in 3 different colors. Shopfleccas.com. Get a Trader Joe's shirt. How appropriate. Joe Biden is a traitor. Trader Joe's is a funny bit. So if you want to support the show and not YouTube, that is how you do it. There's obviously a great opportunity here too for like the social media commentators who are very based. What Does Based Mean posted a really good tweet. And it was from like some leftist who said, remember to not be an asshole to your local Russian-themed restaurants and businesses. The 50-year-old grandma who sells pierogi didn't invade Ukraine. And it's like, oh, wow. What a good take. What a good, honest take. But in the same breath, they'll tell us that white people owe black people reparations in this country.
Same group.
And it's like, that was hundreds of years ago. And this one happened like a week ago. And it's like, oh yeah, that normal thought process way of thinking, don't apply it. Only apply it selectively. It's always a one way. It's never a deep analysis of, hey, how do my views
It's issue
interact?
specific.
Exactly.
It's always issue specific. Like, remember when coronavirus first happened? And you had like AOC saying it was straight up racist to like avoid Chinatown or something. Bill de Blasio was like, I'm going to Chinatown today. And this was like March 18th, of 2020, like right before we everyone did a 180. Nancy Pelosi said she was going to the Chinatown parade. Like,
exactly. Everyone's going to Chinatown. Same with 9/11. 9/11. Oh, we can't have any Islamophobia.
Not all Muslims.
Not all Muslims. Don't be mean to Muslim people. Islamophobic. Then the COVID. Oh, anti-Asian hate is up. We have to protect the Asian people. It's white supremacy. But this Russia one, they don't really have that attitude. Yeah. And I'm going to extrapolate here, and this is only my opinion, my free speech opinion.
Is this a dream, maybe?
It's not a dream. It's just an idea I got, and I think it makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
The anti-Russian stuff, like American leftists, Democrats, and even like the stupid Republicans, they're cheering on the sanctions on Russia that are affecting everyday normal people. The restaurants are shutting down. The ruble goes to basically zero. Everyone has runs on their bank and their bank accounts locked out.
Yep.
Like these
Apple Pay, Visa.
Everyone's pulling out. And these people are like in trouble and they're suffering and they're normal everyday citizens that didn't necessarily ask for this, but they're...
Yeah, you think Putin checked with everybody like, hey guys, about to hit Ukraine. Everyone cool?
But everyone for some reason who supports Ukraine is okay with these attacks on normal everyday Russian people. And I think it's because they're white. And I think they beta tested anti-white attacks on the truckers. They froze their bank accounts, took their trucks, jailed some of them, took away their how they provide for their families and how they make a living. And they're kind of doing that again in Russia, where it's all these attacks, but because they're white, it's okay. And then they're just testing the waters. They're beta testing for when they eventually do it here.
Hey, you don't have to convince me. I've watched a bunch of professors say abolish whiteness, and whiteness is like a sin for the last 2 years. So
I think that's what's coming.
Not a hard leap.
And then you have all the rises in cost, gas prices, fertilizer. The cost is going way up. Farmers are having a hard time.
Anything that touches petroleum, like plastics, rubbers.
The shipments of pretty much every single thing, and the fertilizer price goes up. We're already at all-time highs for a lot of our crops. Wheat,
fertilizer for
corn, food, animal agriculture. It all plays in. So in my mind, I think they're going to make like an anti-conservative, you guys are Russian stooges, we're going to freeze your bank accounts, no one can get food, they're going to starve us out and try and kill us. And that's why I'm kind of happy to have a little extra weight on me.
Yeah, abolish me, dog.
And and once Uber Eats takes me off a cholesterol watch, I'm going to bulk up even more. So when they starve me, I'm going to outlast everybody.
Wait, you're on cholesterol watch from Uber Eats? No. You just slipped that in there. It's like, error, you've ordered too much.
Yeah, error. If we deliver this food to you, we'll be complicit in a murder. Yeah. Also, too, it's interesting. Everyone says Russian bots.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any bots pushing pro-Russia stuff. I've seen plenty of bots pushing the Ukrainian stuff. And I guess who controls the bots is controlling the fake narrative. And it's like you can kind of like map out where it comes from.
Yeah, shouldn't I have had like a pro-Russian propaganda wave come at me now on Twitter from a bunch of faceless, nameless accounts? But no, it's the opposite. It's only for Ukraine, and if the Russians do have these bot farms, they're asleep at the wheel.
They're asleep at the wheel, and wouldn't now be the time to use the bot farms? So the whole time it was never that.
Actually, funny story. Someone DM'd me on Instagram, and they actually DM'd you too. But it was basically like a highlight reel of Ukraine defending something. And then with the song "Don't Worry, Be Happy" on, like "Don't worry, be happy," and the guy who DM'd us made a good point where it's like, who's that for? Ukrainians don't know "Don't Worry, Be Happy." They might know the tone of it, They don't know the words. They don't know the theme of the song. So it's like that particular piece of like video was made explicitly for the American audience, the West. So it's like they're catering the propaganda to us.
Yeah.
It's just weird. The vibe is off.
It is. And my mom sent me like this thing as like a joke. She sent it to me about there's like a WebMD article about how to deal with like the nuclear crisis anxiety. And it's like not for the people in Russia or Ukraine. It's
it's a one-word article. It's click, turn the TV off.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding
How to
me?
deal with anxiety for the girl who went to Barnard.
Well, that's what
lives in the Upper West Side.
That's what
and her dad pays her rent $3,500 a month.
Isn't it so funny? Because the media, I think it was Tucker talking about like morality crisis, how there's a moral crisis every 3 weeks, and it's like designed to ramp up your emotional state. And then so the media ramps up your emotional state and says, here's how you should get your anxiety down for that. Like, yeah, here's the anxiety. And it's just crazy. Like the same people who ramp you up sell you the cure on WebMD, and it's really turn off the TV, stop watching.
And if you turn it off, then they don't get the ratings, and then they go out of business.
And then that's Fox too. Remember when we were watching Fox in the background the other day? Do you want to tell this?
Oh yeah. They were talking about I think it was about Kiev. Not Kiev. That's how I've been saying.
That's how I was taught since I was in 3rd grade.
So Kiev is under attack, and there's like some guy who's doing like an on the ground reporting, and he's like, Kiev is a city of blah 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 many people. Imagine about the same size as Dallas or San Diego. Now imagine San Diego getting struck by missiles, and it's like no, I'm not going to imagine that.
That's not like if we get to that, we get to that, but that is 40 steps away.
Yeah, be a little more subtle. It's
Put yourself in the shoes of a Ukrainian who's taking a missile right now, and it's like, no.
San Diego takes a missile strike. What would that make you feel like? Well, that feeling isn't really in this conversation.
We'd be at war. There's no feeling necessary.
We need to stop this now. So that's what they're trying to do. And it's the same model we've seen with all the BLM stuff. Like a black person is killed. It's a police brutality. He had his hands up. He said, don't shoot. And he shot him anyway. And then everyone gets emotionally riled up. Yeah. And then a month later, the court hearing happens and you find out, oh, the guy had a gun. He pointed the gun at the cop and he got
had
shot.
A knife. He was running
pulled
away.
The cop's gun. Like there's always something, but it doesn't matter because the emotional damage is all they need because they only need to work with the pawns.
Yep.
Like the higher pieces can think in a way of like what really happened. What's the truth? Why am I being told this? What are they trying to like create the narrative around? What are they trying to have me not look at? Like that's how smart people think. But the pawns just hear it and they go, ugh, and they have the white guilt and they go out and act on it. So that's what they're doing with Ukraine too. They're just getting us emotionally riled up. And if you have a take like ours, you're a Putin puppet. You love Putin.
Yeah.
And Zelensky.
But you actually do use it for clickbait, so you kind of are a Putin puppet.
I am a little bit of a Putin puppet.
But not in the way you'd think.
Yeah. It's like I'm not going to blindly follow the Zelensky narrative. That guy's a bitch boy. And now everyone thinks, oh, he's tough, he's funny. He's not. He's a bitch boy puppet. He's a little bitch boy, squirmy little rat. Oh, I don't need a ride. I need ammo. That was fake too.
It turns out that was pretty fake
too. And if you're on the front line, you're the president, and you need ammo, you should probably get off the front line. You should probably plan for this.
I don't need a ride. I need ammo is like the tagline of a Rambo movie. And if he said it in Ukrainian, it would be like some loose translation, like, no, staying in Kiev, send gun. Like it would be like, it wouldn't be like the Hollywood soundbite. So
yeah.
Use your sniff test. Keep using that sniff test.
Exactly.
A lot of this shit is not
If
going to
it
be
sounds
real.
like a movie, it's not real. And yeah, I don't blindly follow that. Wouldn't you have gotten ammo before this? Wouldn't you kind of plan? Didn't you know Russia's doing this? Didn't you see the NATO encroaching and say, hey, this could lead to a conflict. We should get our military squared away. It's like going to a race. And you're on the race. You're a race car driver, and you're on the line. And it's like, all right, 3, 2, and you're like, all right, I need gas.
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna fill me up? And then everyone takes off, and you're left behind. And you're like, why is no one helping me, buddy? You should have been a little more prepared, in my mind.
Yeah.
But, that's not allowed. Here's the mainstream Zelensky take that you're allowed to have, that everyone else seems to have.
I'm not gay, but the Ukrainian president is so cool. I think I would have to have relations with him if I ever met him.
He's so cool.
That's the mainstream Zelensky take that is allowed right now.
So Zelensky, you probably just heard about him like within the last 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
His quotes are mostly fake. The ghost of Kiev is fake and for morale. But you still have to think like this. You still have to have the mainstream view of
exactly. Those are the strings that are being pulled.
Sorry, anyone with a girlfriend, but she's fantasized about Zelensky the past week. No, you made that up. It's made up. Nobody cares.
It's not true. Zelensky can't pin me, so it's not true.
He's 5'6".
5'6". He's friends with Trudeau. It's not true. My eye's been like twitching and going crazy. I get mad about this.
That's crazy. Started with Dan Crenshaw. And
it started with Dan Crenshaw. Oh, man. So, yes, these are the strings that are being pulled. Remember when Trump first got into office and immediately everything got better? Taxes went down, wars went down, peace went up, energy independent, gas prices went down, medical costs went down.
That was a good time.
Do you remember that, Richard Applin?
Yeah, I remember when.
Remember when.
Remember when is the lowest form of conversation, though, so we shouldn't do that on the podcast, according to Tony Soprano.
That's true. Remember when's the lowest form of conversation. So, yeah, it's just interesting that, like, the bad guy, the Putin stooge, went in and did all that good stuff, and now the people who are in control for the last 50 years are back in, and they're just basically hollowing the country out again, and now we're, like, seeing it in live time how they do it. It's like, oh, Joe Biden's in. He's going to make things right. When the adults are back in the White House, now we can all relax. Gas price like 4x, 3x immediately. We have we're not doing our own production anymore. Taxes are probably going to go up for sure. Our national security's down. Our border's a mess. It's like every single thing is bad. And now we're just seeing it. Like
spend money for inflation.
Inflation's a joke. And it's like we saw like corruption and bad stuff was up here. Then Trump got into power and it went down. And now, like, watching it go back up, it's like we're seeing them steal. We're catching them on camera, like going in the cookie jar one at a time. And we're seeing how they do it like more clearly now.
And then Trump, the way it was like turn off all these faucets of like where America's leaking. And it's like, all right, no, you're not importing your cars with it when you have a tax on our cars to your country. And then you'd see the deep state, like the career politicians, or not even politicians, career bureaucrats in DC would be the ones to step up and try to stop it and be like, no, don't do that. That's terrible for the country. And they can't really tell you why. So those people run a lot of interference for the soul sucking of America, where, manufacturing's gone. You buy everything from China. We also are importing fentanyl, and like all the drugs now have fentanyl, and 5 people just died in Colorado. Like everybody's dead because they were doing drugs that are spiked. It's like the hollowing out of America is fantastic for the international community. They love it. China 100%. Loves it.
And then if you're one of these compromised politicians, or even like, you know, everyone talks about the Russian oligarchs, like they're like the real big problem, and I'm sure there's corruption and it's a problem.
What's Nancy Pelosi then?
Yeah, what's Nancy Pelosi? What's Jeff Bezos?
Yeah.
These are like, we have American oligarchs.
What's Mark Zuckerberg? It's the same thing. It's
100%. And it's like the Russian oligarchs are the problem because what? They kill people and they take money or whatever. It's like Mark Zuckerberg is a
tech oligarchs.
He's a worse thug than anybody. Jack Dorsey, Jeff Bezos owns Washington Post. These are American oligarchs that are actually worse in my mind. The Ukrainian oligarchs who sold their whole country out. And these people work together and we're, Russian oligarchs, it's corrupt. No, buddy, we have it pretty much worse here. Yeah, in my mind. So that's what I don't get.
Well, I mean, there are problems, right? It's not. I don't know if it's worse. It's not worse. We're not comparing the two situations, but these are legitimately our problems.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. And it's tough to even know what's fully going on and what you're allowed to believe. It looks like. Remember last time I brought up that theory that there's the biolab attacks and that Russia's attacking the biolabs?
That was a dream.
That was my dream.
Yeah.
Well, my dream is coming true. It sounds like we can't touch it too hard because it's not fully confirmed yet. But
that's what some Russian sources are putting forward. Correct.
And Marco Rubio in a hearing was talking to some lady, and they admitted that there are biolabs that are under attack. So I guess if one of these viruses gets out from one of these biolabs, they'll just blame it on Russia or something.
Which I guess the international community's sensitivity toward biolab leaks, I'm going to guess, is a little elevated these days.
Yeah.
Ever since 2020.
Yeah, exactly. So just remember, just because people are mad doesn't mean they're right. And the fact that they're trying to use their anger to really show you how right they are is a red flag in itself. If you ever see that tactic being used against you, you should really take a step back and rationally observe.
Yeah, don't stand for personal attacks. You know, if someone personally attacks you for not having the exact same thought, like, you know, don't let yourself get emotionally ramped up and then into a big decision where all of a sudden we're spending $90 billion.
Yeah, we sent $14 billion. We're sending $14 billion to Ukraine.
I think that's the number. That just passed.
$14 billion. We can't use that for anything. We're all good.
You could build two and a half border walls, southern border.
Yeah, maybe more. So that's very upsetting. And these people who are woke think they deserve to be in charge because they're upset and they're victimized, which is how a lady thinks. That's how girls think.
You know what's funny, too? It's like there's two different lanes of thinking, right? We just give Ukraine money, right? China would say, we'll give you $14 billion worth of goods for X amount of percentage of your wheat fields or your X production. And then China would come and get something out of it. America just gets hollowed out by the international
We just give
community.
cash.
We just give straight cash.
We give cash. And then Trump would say, no, we're not giving you free unless you give us.
He would sell them something. He would sell them Stinger missiles or Javelins and whatever.
Yeah.
As opposed to just, here you go. Good luck.
Exactly. So that's like what we're really up against. We're not up against Putin. We're not up against Ukraine. It's about our domestic who we're up against.
Hey, and Stephen Colbert, I'm willing to pay $1 or $2 more for gas just so we could stick it to Putin.
Yeah.
Kill yourself, dude.
Yeah, Colbert, do you realize your takes don't have any push anymore? You used to be someone who everyone watched, and now your takes don't hit as hard. And you're kind of just being propped up.
Cash your checks. We'll make fun of you. And nice job. Good. Have fun being a mouthpiece for like the Democratic talking points. Because
exactly.
That's all you are now, buddy.
Exactly. So make sure you guys know who the enemy is. Our enemy's not Russia. Our enemy's not it is China. But, you know, domestically, that's really what we need to focus on. Culturally, the enemy is these people who want to be in charge because they're woke and they're good and they think we're bad. That's our problem. And I saw a comment on our last video. If you guys don't think I read the comments, I totally do. And in the beginning, when the video is released, I pretty much reply to every single one to get the algorithm going. Leave comments to get the algorithm going. It goes a long way. And someone said, the right wants true freedom and we are willing to take the responsibility that goes with it. The left wants freedom from responsibility. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
And that's what we talked about earlier about toxic masculinity. It's time to just start saying no. If you know what's right and you see someone doing wrong and you don't feel like getting involved, those days are over. It's time to just start saying no. And to wrap up the Ukraine section, remember a few months ago we were talking about BLM and COVID and all these things. And then we were saying how aliens comes next.
Yeah. Well, you were saying that. This isn't a rat boy opinion. So
you know, we had consensus on aliens come next. Yeah,
the show's narrative. Aliens are next.
So my theory is they're going to escalate this war with Russia. They're going to really start scaring everybody.
1 minute to midnight.
1 minute to midnight on the nuclear clock, on the doomsday clock. The world's coming to an end. And then they're going to have like a nuclear showdown. And then right at the last second, aliens are going to come. And in my mind, it can kind of go one of two ways. It's either going to be real aliens come, and I'm hoping they come with the 2020 actual vote count. And solve that problem for us, which would be amazing. But there is a chance they come and it's actually like a false flag. The government does it and controls disclosure, and they try to.
Is this a guy in a suit, or is this real aliens?
I don't know. It would be like, you know, maybe a hologram in the sky, holographic in the sky, like a fake thing. And the government controls disclosure, and they say, "Oh, we're aliens. You guys should have a one world government." And Jared Leto's the Antichrist. It's like, there's like one of two ways I think it can go. But yeah, if aliens come, you guys heard it here first. The nuclear clock, 10 seconds to midnight, we're getting close to the end. There's gonna be a nuclear war, and then bam, aliens.
That's when they'd appear.
And if they're real, they'll have the vote count, which we need so bad. That's one of the only ways. I'm obviously for audits and all the voter integrity stuff, and I don't think Biden legally won the election, and I'm going to look into it and fight for the truth for as long as I can. But if aliens came with the exact numbers and the work already done, that would go a long way.
I can't imagine the aliens would contact Joe Biden first. I think it's probably like, all right, let's pick someone else. America's in trouble right now. Let's go somewhere
Trump.
else.
It would be Trump.
Yeah.
They have to talk. They go to
Mar-a-Lago.
They go to Mar-a-Lago. All right.
You're a real messed up guy.
Yeah, I got problems.
Yeah.
I got 23 episodes of problems.
Fantasies, problems, delusions.
Delusions is a big one for me. Moving on. Obviously, Russia and Ukraine is so important. We have to care about that because everything in America is so good.
It has to be your entire emotional bandwidth right now. If you're thinking about anything other than Russia and Ukraine, you're a Putin supporter.
But this week, as always, we have an Urban Decay section that's going to make you go, wait, what is going on in America? So remember last week we had the poop attacker, the guy who took poop in a bag and smeared it in that old woman's face who was waiting for the bus?
Of course.
That guy was arrested and released within 24 hours on no bail and said on the way out, quote, "Shit happens," end quote.
Just a real joker.
A real fucking rat.
Yeah.
Arrested 47 times before that. And he gets arrested for smearing shit in someone's face on a woman, an old woman, and he's released again. So I have a question. In New York, what do you have to do to get arrested for something and go to jail?
You have to shoot someone in the chest point blank, look over to a police officer, say, "That was me. I'm Michael Johnson." And then the officer has to catch you. And then the prosecutor still might not. So there's actually no clear-cut way to go to jail.
Exactly.
Remember like John Q or those type of movies where someone goes to jail so that they can get in? Like Prison Break, maybe?
Yeah.
It's like I go to jail and it's like he fires a gun in a bank so he knows that they'll arrest him actually. And now that won't even get you arrested anymore.
Yeah.
You'll get 1 day in jail.
You have to be a Proud Boy to go to jail now in New York.
Yeah. You have to have some sort of right-wing militia associated with you.
Which is so scary and why I will never do anything sketchy in New York. I go to New York and I feel like someone's come up to me and punch me in the face.
Just to bait you.
To bait me. And then I punch him and then I get arrested. And then I go, okay, well, I'm getting out like right away, right? And they go, well, no.
Not for you. Those rules aren't for you.
The DA really wants to throw the book at you.
He's
for this
taking
one.
an interest in your case. You know, it's like
what?
They do nothing for everything, and then once they get one, they go, oh.
So if you can't get arrested in New York for smearing shit in an old woman's face,
well, you can get arrested, but you just get released the next day.
You get released immediately.
You get a process thing.
Isn't that what happened? Isn't that what happened in Gotham City?
Yes.
We need like a Batman.
Well, it's interesting because Gotham City just never catches them. So it's kind of the opposite.
The police are trying.
So we're worse than Gotham City. Yeah, it's like the police are doing it, but then nobody cares.
Yeah, the police actually try. There's some corruption for sure.
Imagine Gotham City where every time Batman caught someone, he was back the next day. So
that would be, Batman would quit.
Batman would be busy. Yeah, he would.
Batman would have to open his own jail.
You again? You know, like in a voice.
He would have to like take people into his own private jail.
Yeah, Batman.
Can we do that? Can we make like private security that's basically a police force that have your own private jail like Target does or Walmart does where they have like a jail on site?
But I think there's rules about detainment, you know?
But it's like if you detain some street rat who smeared shit in someone's face, he's not going to go, hey, you can't detain me. He's going to be like,
let me out.
Let me out. You say no.
I don't know. I don't know, man.
There's an idea. There's a business idea there.
You know, there's certainly a business idea, but I wish the system just even half worked instead, you know? Maybe if we had even half a DA, we'd get something going.
The guy was arrested 47 times before this.
That's if you get arrested 47 times, that's just lifelong jail.
Yeah, you're done.
Why are you back out on the street? You again.
Batman. Yeah, you again. It's like, why is this?
It's like I took out 12 of Falcone's men, and it's like Falcone's back the next day with all 12. Like this isn't.
So it's not even. It's worse than Gotham.
Spider-Man leaves them webbed up, like webbed up between two buildings after they robbed a grandma, and it's like the police come and cut it down.
They cut you out and let you go. Like, oh, sorry, you had to deal with that. We're trying to catch that Spider-Man, and then literally that Spider-Man becomes the bad guy.
Yep.
There's another clip from Urban Decay. 70-year-old Asian woman is attacked by a black guy again. We also need to make sure we stop Asian hate, and then obviously white supremacy is a huge problem.
Yep. So I'm playing it now. This lady, this is outside of a retirement home at 7:30. So this is dusk. It's not like wrong place, wrong time. This is this guy victimizing an old person and knowing he was going to because it's a retirement home. 70-year-old Asian woman. This guy doesn't care if you're fighting back. He's getting the bag no matter what.
And then
he's dragging her.
He'll get released the next day if they even catch him.
Yeah.
And then it's like if that lady's grandson found that guy and just kicked his ass and broke some bones and smashed his face, I bet that person gets in trouble.
Yep.
Because it's like an anti-black attack or something.
Oh,
this really makes me mad.
Stop Asian hate. Hey, I'm all for stopping Asian hate. And you know how you do it? You have to examine every single Asian hate incident. And then you start to do like pattern recognition. You know, you start to look at who are these criminals? Who's doing it? Where's the Asian hate coming from? And then you solve it. And it doesn't seem like anybody's doing that. They just say white supremacy loosely every once in a while.
Yeah.
And we've shown several
to stop Asian hate, you should arrest the black people attacking the Asian people. It seems pretty simple to me.
That's a good start.
Moving on. The following is a message from the Patriot Meme Alliance. That was also featured in last week's Bonus Land, patreon.com/Fleccas, link in bio, YouTube join for Bonus Land every week.
Hey guys, Benny Johnson here.
Hello, Benny Johnson. Congratulations on 1 million followers on Instagram. That is a huge accomplishment. Unfortunately, your page has been built on the backs of independent memers, who oftentimes are not appropriately credited. You say the left can't meme, but now we are left to wonder, can you meme? The Patriot Meme Alliance is willing to de-escalate this conflict. Our demands are simple: a public apology and caption credits on every post going forward. If you comply with our demands, total meme warfare can be avoided. If not, you can expect to be crudely photoshopped on top of characters doing really dumb stuff. Soy jacks, NPCs, etc. The world will know the truth about where your memes really come from. To be clear, our issue is solely with you, Benny. We actually really like Nurse Kate. You have 48 hours to respond. We are the Patriot Meme Alliance.
Whatever goes around comes around. You reap what you sow.
So, Patriot Meme Alliance had a message. Hopefully it's received. Benny Johnson, stop stealing people's memes without crediting them. This is not a hateful thing. We like Benny Johnson. We just don't want...
We just like making fun content.
Fun content. And meme makers who have way less following, way less reach, should get credited because they don't have all the resources that Benny does. And if Benny steals their memes, gets all the credit, it doesn't really make sense. We're all in this together. You reap what you sow.
Memes aren't just like discovered or found or, ooh, like someone's opening Photoshop, they're opening apps, they're doing it. So give credit,
Yeah,
guys.
we like you, Benny. We want you to credit the Patriot Meme Alliance and whoever you get the memes from, share the wealth because these people work hard and they don't have the resources you have. So let's start tagging some people. It's not the same as the Crenshaw section. This was a more fun, lighthearted one.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
yeah. All right, moving on to uplifting gold. We're almost at the I shaved my beard part. Do you have the clippers? Oh, I have the clippers.
Yeah, I don't know. You just announced that. You don't even tell me anything.
Uplifting gold. Let's see. The basketball floor cleaners. This is one of those where it's like, why is it an uplifting gold? It's an uplifting gold because it didn't happen to us.
Yeah. So part of uplifting gold is just kind of bad things happening to other people, but it's not us. And it's entertaining.
Nas is such a good roller, too, as J-Mac is so good. The ball boy on the floor. That's a technical foul.
Wow.
How is there no whistle? That has to be a whistle.
So for the audio-only people, it's a basketball highlight where it's a quick turnover and then the people mopping up the floor get ran into by the opposing team.
So it's maybe a thing we can all learn from. I like to learn lessons from other people's mistakes so I don't have to learn that same lesson with my own mistakes.
Exactly.
And that is a pretty good example. Head on a swivel always, and always...
don't turn your back to
exactly.
the 6'10" NBA players who can run full steam down the court.
Exactly. Don't turn your back to the action, folks. Head on a swivel. Don't turn your back to the action. And prepare for the worst case scenario.
And also, what is this? New York City or something? The DAs, these refs, are they appointed by the New York DA? Because the announcers are like, this should be a technical, and just nobody calls it.
Yeah.
So there's no standards anymore. It's like clearly there was a collision.
We
with
like
the
the home team.
Yeah.
If the other guys did that, it'd be a problem.
This is in Oklahoma City, so the moppers are the home teams.
It's a good, and they didn't score either, so it was actually like a problem.
It should have been a technical. Like, where are the standards here?
No standards anymore. It's all just ballpark based on feelings. Those guys are embarrassed. Let's just let them play. Have you ever had anything embarrassing like that happen to you?
Like in a sporting event like that?
Or anything like really embarrassing where everyone saw you do something bad or have something bad happen to you? Pee your pants?
I did pee my pants once, but...
everyone knew?
No, I was like running home as a little kid, and it was like, you really have to pee. And I did I was running to my fence, and I did a quick flip up, like a flip of the gate, and I did a flip, and then I was blowing through it, but then I flipped. It didn't flip all the way, and I ran into the fence, and it was like a
gut hit
stopped me, and I just pissed my pants when I was like in first grade.
Wow. Yeah. Actually,
but I don't think a lot of people knew that or saw that.
That's good.
Yeah, so it wasn't public humiliation.
I piss my pants all the time. I know that's embarrassing.
You admitting to pissing your pants?
But I always just road trips, for example. I'll just hold it to the last second, and I don't piss my pants. But I'm running to the bathroom a lot, and I'm really to the last second.
You're a poor planner.
I'm a poor planner. I had an embarrassing thing happen to me when I was in 6th grade.
Which year?
Oh, LOL. I did 6th grade twice.
Fleccas was held back. He was,
but I was
stupid.
It wasn't because I was too stupid. It was because my mom, who everyone heard from last week, was very smart. And we have 3 boys in our family. And we had a choice to be either the younger kids of one grade or the older kids in the grade below.
Yeah.
So we all repeated 6th grade. And it really helped for football. We had 3 boys, and we all played college. 3 boys all played college football. It works.
I wish my parents had done that with me.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
I'd be 19 in high school, just all state.
Well, I was 18 in high school. We didn't go that far. But Chinese Donut Boy was 19 in high school.
Really?
He was buying dip and allowed to.
That's great.
But I had an embarrassing thing when I was in my 6th grade. The first time we went on a school trip, and we had it was the first time leaving home on a school trip without your family. And we were staying in this cabins and
an overnight trip,
and cabins in the woods. We learned about owls, and
I did this similar trip.
Spit the pellets out of the bones. So at night, we had a talent show, a dance contest, talent show, singing thing, and everyone went up and did 30 seconds of whatever, and I did the chicken dance.
Ooh.
And I was going like this,
humiliating.
And well, that's not even the bad part. I farted.
No.
And everyone heard. And then one of my friends...
That's not like you.
One of my friends looks at me and goes, dude, we don't fart in front of girls. It was so embarrassing. It's like, I know, dude. I'm so embarrassed. And then, yeah, that was like 6th grade. I never forgot. I think about it like every 12 seconds. I think about that.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, let's move on.
You're haunted by that, huh?
I'm haunted, yeah. The Charlotte MLS anthem.
Yeah.
Ugh, is this soccer?
Major League Soccer, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So she's singing the anthem, the mic cuts out, and everyone sings the anthem and finishes it. And that's nice. That's uplifting gold. That makes you think America still got it. We still got a chance. People still care. People still like this place. Maybe most people. But I wish the people who like soccer would care about America. Like, if you're going to go support your team and buy this stuff and hate the other team's fans and
Yeah, it's
care.
like nationalism on your sports teams, but nothing for America.
Yeah, like we soaked up all of our nationalism and we put it to like tribal stuff like sports,
Well, that's what
BLM.
I'm all confused about this because, like, on the same hand, like, you know, the people who were talking about reparations and the people who were saying, you know, we mentioned that earlier, but the people who say shop local, they don't say buy American, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yo, shop local, don't buy Target, don't buy from Walmart, but they don't say buy American. So it's like
the nationalism that could exist, they
Exactly.
already are like controlling the language around it.
Yeah.
And like, no, like not fully, not America. It's local. It's like they're removing it.
So there should be two waves, you know?
Yeah.
There should be like the shop local and then the buy American and then like, oh, American can't do, you know, oh, I like German cars though or something, you know? So that's really weird to me. And I used to make fun of that. I used to have a friend who would only buy American cars. And I was like, why? You know, like, that's weird. Like, aren't you limiting yourself? And I was just a consumer at that point. So buying American is always a good thing and shopping local is always a good thing. Both are true. But you oftentimes just see someone with one side of that.
Exactly. And you're there cheering on the soccer players who are collapsing with myocarditis. It's like, let's see what's going on. Don't wait for them to ruin your sport completely to start caring about American nationalism. Last clip.
Broader lessons here from the
lessons
from the
from
soccer
that
national
one
anthem.
thing. Final clip, the found money kid. So they're in a store. This guy is paying. He leaves. He drops money. And this nice little kid picked it up and returned it. And the guy, it looks like the guy just said you can keep it to the kid. And that's nice. And that kid's being raised properly. He has good parents. And it's kind of the overarching theme of the episode and like what we're going through as a country. I obviously don't have any children yet. I'm going to have a lot one day. But it's like if you raise them right, you can solve the problems in the long game. Because in the long game is the way to win. The problems we're facing as a country are like years and years entrenched, baked into our system now, all the corruption and evil things. But the good news is the conservatives value life and family and tradition and God. So we're the people that will have kids. And then the left likes to abort the kids and make the kids transgender and gay, and they're not going to have kids themselves. So we have an opportunity here in the long game to win as long as we raise the next generation well.
And I think Gen Z is going to have a crisis. You know, those Gen Zers who are, it's like 23% identify as some sort of LGBT. Like, all right, so then Gen Z will only have based kids, right? Like the only ones who are going to reproduce are going to be.
And that's interesting. And they're all vaccinated. But all the illegal people that came here and all the illegal undocumented people, they're not vaccinated.
They just showed up.
And now they're going to have a lot of kids.
All right, we'll explore this on...
I actually thought we solved the problem, but then I realized...
It got worse.
It got worse because like the Democrats know that too, and that's why they have all the illegals here who aren't vaccinated. Oh, okay, so that's dark.
All right.
Final segment.
Bad realization.
The I shave my beard section.
Excited to see this one. What happened?
I've had my beard forever, and today is not the day it goes away. Guys, it was clickbait. I lied. Times are tough on YouTube. I need that algo push. I need people watching till the end. And unfortunately, I had to lie to get you here. And I'm not proud of it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to shave my beard. Obviously, that would be stupid. I love my beard, and one day maybe I will. But it was clickbait. I lied.
If you lied about this, what else are you lying about? Is my
Nothing.
question.
That's the only thing.
Shame.
I'll take it, and I deserve it. It's not good. I'm not proud of it.
I want to see that chin. Let me see that neck.
I haven't seen this chin or neck in so long that if I shave my beard, I probably wouldn't even recognize myself.
I know. You'd be like a weird dad, especially shaved down to the like razor shave.
And then if I did shave it down, like would I even be able to grow a beard back?
Take a long ass time.
It doesn't make sense. So obviously I'm not shaving my beard. I lied. I'm sorry. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. ShopFleccas.com for the best merch in the game. In a few seconds, we're going to be in bonus land. If you guys want to watch an extra 20 minutes of the podcast every week, go to patreon.com/Fleccas and sign up. It's as low as $1 or $2 a month.
Yeah, I think $1.
So basically, I'm not even making money from it. But we're just building the foundation for the eventual behind-the-scenes extra content stuff, and it's going to fund the show.
Like that Benny Johnson clip was in last week's bonus land.
Exactly.
So you can get it earlier. More side stuff.
True Life I'm Obsessed with Rob Smith is in that. A bunch of other bonus lands, extra 20 minutes from weeks in the past, fun topics, good stuff. We also flesh out ideas for future episodes. We talk about what we're going to be doing in upcoming episodes. So please go sign up there. It's YouTube join as well. There's a YouTube join button over here somewhere. Please click that and join. It's very cheap, but it goes a long way, and it supports the show, and it keeps us going. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you at the next one.
Or in bonus land.
Or hopefully in bonus land. Life's all about, and why we shouldn't blow our fucking brains out. All this and more is Fleccas Podcast, episode 22, ranked the best new podcast of all.